What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Patrick from Rev Rides, and today we have the E-Ride Pro SR. We're gonna do an unboxing, which we call the box to road or box to dirt. These videos tend to be very detailed and very long, so make sure you pay close attention so you can make sure your bike is put together properly. If you have any questions whatsoever, drop them in the comments down below. Let's get this thing open. All right, once you got your bike this far, you're gonna need some tools. These are the tools you will need to assemble this bike. Before I get into the box, let's get this all completely unpackaged. All right, what you will notice, this is not a pre-production, this is a first edition, I guess you could say. The biggest thing is you do not have the long tail that shows on our website, or if you've bought in the future, it does not have the longer tail on it. From what I'm told is the first initial orders up to a certain amount will get the new seat for free. I don't know when that is, so don't quote me on it. This is just a rumor slash kind of the rumblings from E-Ride. So anticipate your bike looking like this if you're getting this in the first few batches. And I would honestly anticipate leaving it this way until E-Ride comes out publicly to let us know what the steps are to having the new seat and subframe and all that. Now, if you've seen the video up in the corner of the 3.0 that we did the box to road on, you'll notice the bike looks very similar. If you've looked at an E-Ride Pro of any sort up until the videoing of this, the bikes look very familiar. In a future video, we'll go over all the differences and what makes the SR an SR. But we're just gonna focus on putting this together now. So let's get into what comes in the smaller boxes. All right, so as you will see, first off, you have the owner's manual here. Screenshot that, save it. That's a different approach than I've seen so far. You have the front fender, the foot pegs with the mounts, 2 extra nuts for your foot pegs, 19, 17, 13 Phillips head and your Allen's / hex wrenches. You have your front wheel spacers, 2 washers, and 3 front fender bolts for your front fender, which your front fender is larger than the existing S and SS versions. Your same front number plate as the other bikes, the same rear mudguard as the other bikes, same display, but not, because it is labeled here for an SR. So I believe that the programming is different. Pretty sure you can't swap between different bikes and displays because of programming. You have your charger, which is the same across all 3 models, the S, SS, and the SR. But there is one charger that is different, and that is the 1.0 version of the E-Ride. So you can't use that charger with this bike. Before we put it on the stand, we're gonna go ahead and pull the bolt out of the rear shock. There's 2 bushings. I saw these 2 in the box. Looks like they send you an extra set, at least on this bike it did. I've never seen them send these bushings before. And lift this up, drop that in. 1 bushing goes on one side, 1 on the other side, like that. And I'm just gonna literally put this on a couple threads so it's obvious that it's out so I don't forget it. All right, we're gonna go and pop the handlebars on here. You're gonna take your 5mm, loosen all these up. You wanna go ahead and put on your brake lever first. Go ahead and remove the bolt completely, and then your throttle will go on next, which is a 4mm. Just loosen that up. Make sure all your wires are routed where you want them. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back here. And we'll put our bar clamp on, and I'll just tighten 1 for the immediate so it's not flopping around. Now we can make sure we get our lever on here in the right direction. You're gonna tuck this wire underneath the headlight, and then it's gonna kind of just come up here. We'll talk about this in a little bit. Just put the bolt in. Do not need to tighten anything down yet. Now back to the handlebars. Let's get these in a little higher position. Put the rest of the bolts in. Notice no ugga-duggas, it's just on there for the time being. If I wanted to, I could push this handlebar back and forth. Let me show you how to remove the straps. So to do this, I'm not gonna twist the handlebar so I don't scratch them up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and put my chest and my weight on the handlebars. I'm gonna reach over the handlebars and pull the straps, which is just push down on these little levers right here. And so most of my weight is down. Makes it super simple. At this point, the bike will get a little bit more wobbly because it's not pulled down. It's not as snug as it was. Now, a lot of people don't do this, but I'm gonna show you this really quick. This only works really well if you have an impact. So this is a 14 millimeter. Go ahead and unscrew them. Hold the bike. Now, the purpose of that, you'll see in just a sec. All right, before we try and take the bike completely out, we're gonna take the battery out of the bike. You're gonna take your keys out of your ignition, put a little bit of pressure on the battery lid and twist, and it opens up. Now you have multiple battery leads in here, which we'll get into a little bit later. So you have 2 battery leads, and then we're gonna go ahead and pull this up. This battery weighs about 48 pounds. So I get over it and lift.
Note the connectors. Now you can see that they are using a different case on this one. Seems very stout and solid. So to charge it, it's the same as any of the E-Ride batteries. You also have a status light right here. Shows that we're at 40%. This little connector here is for communication with the battery and the controller. This is not your charging port. This is your charging port. You want to plug it into the charger first, and then go ahead and plug in charger to your outlet. And like you see, there's basically a yellow light showing that it's charging, then it goes to red, and it's on its way. And then you'll see this display moving up and down while it's charging.
All right, now that the battery's out, let's go ahead and get the bike on the stand. All right, 6 millimeter Allen, 13 millimeter wrench or socket. Now since we're back here, let's put the mud guard on. Remove all these on the right and on the left. Dab a Loctite. Dab a Loctite. More Loctite. Now you're gonna have to stretch this. This has a lot of tension on it. Also, you don't need to rush through this. Take your time. Loctite. Then you're gonna go through this little eyelet. Might actually have to thread it through a little bit. And I do have a impact. I'm not going to impact these on. I'm gonna tighten them with a wrench. Go in until you get some tension on all 4. Also, if you're ever wondering a torque spec on something, you can actually Google the size of bolt you have, the type of metal it is made out of, into the type of metal it is going into. Another tip, shake your Loctite up from time to time. I'm gonna take out all the pinch bolts and I'm gonna put a little bit of Loctite on them. Now go ahead and remove your axle. If you've ever assembled one of these before, you're probably like, wow, I didn't think about removing that block. And this is already pre-greased, which is awesome. You can see this is all destroyed. You have 2 zip ties you need to snip before you start messing with putting the front wheel on. There's one zip tie holding the front brake, and another zip tie holding the rear brake. You don't have to clip the rear one right now if you don't want to, but I'm gonna clip them both because I don't need the rear brake held. All right, now that your front brake is released, you can just kind of push this side to side and you should be able to just pull it right out. Your front wheel also has a zip tie through it. Before we get into putting the front wheel on, I wanted to touch on one thing. You may notice that your fork is up higher than the other. It's supposed to do that. So we get a lot of questions on Era Pro S's like, why does this move and not return? It's meant to be that way. One is compression, one is dampening. We're gonna put our axle in first on this side. Not all the way, just in a little bit. You're gonna put one of your bushings or a front wheel spacers in on the brake side because we can twist our lower portions of the forks real easily. That comes in very handy. Slide your rotor into your brake caliper and then you can kind of just push in with your body, your axle. All right, now we put in our front bushing, front spacer. Make sure your fork is at the level that it needs to be. And you should be able to. Push her on all the way through. Now you're gonna take two 19 millimeters. You have your bolt that goes into your axle. There's one on each side. It's righty-tighty on both sides. You do not need Loctite on these. I'm gonna go ahead and snug these up. I wouldn't go much more than like 12 or so inch-pounds. And the reason why I tighten that first is it centers itself. Then on your pinch bolts, I'll make sure that they are threaded in enough and I'll go ahead and get them in place. Same on this side. Go ahead and tighten these by hand. And you're gonna go back and forth until it feels tight. These, again, roughly 12 or so Newton meters, roughly. For this portion, we're gonna go ahead and take it off of the stand just so we can get access to these bolts easier. Now I wanna go over one quick thing. You may notice that a couple of these might be slightly out. You're gonna take a 5 millimeter, whether it's an open end or a socket, and just go ahead and snug these up. A couple of them I noticed were a little bit loose, and it's better to tackle them now. So just go over each peg, snug them up so you don't lose any of these. You can Loctite them if you want to go that far. And now we are all nice and snug. All right, these are labeled HX-R. We're on the right-hand side. There's a left-hand side that's just HX-L. And we're gonna go ahead and use our locking nut. It has plastic in there so it keeps it locked, so you don't need any Loctite. Make sure it's level and get her snug. If you just put them on and you aren't sure if they're put on right and you didn't check the letters, or maybe you swapped out two different pegs, you just want to make sure that it folds up and back. You don't want it to fold this way because if a rock or something makes an impact, it will literally break this or snap or bend everything. Now use our locking nut on the back. All right, there are 3 holes underneath here. Your front fender goes in those holes. These are shoulder bolts as well, so they can snug up and they won't flop around. Like most everything else, Loctite. I always put the rear one in first. I'm gonna set it up like this. Twist it sideways and look inside. And then go ahead and put your other 2 in. Do not cross thread these. And go ahead and tighten her up. Onto the display. Get your 3 millimeter Allen. Remove the screws.
Go ahead and slide this over. Put your screws back. Make sure your cables pull out of the way. Put your screws back in. Now we're gonna tighten our bar clamp. We gotta sit on it. Make sure everything is in its location. Get in a position where you're sitting and you feel good. Or go ahead and snug the screws in place, then move around. I'm gonna roll this forward, get on the bike, and you make sure that there's 2 plus signs on the handlebars. Make sure that the vertical lines have a good gap from side to side of your bar clamp. Now, make sure that the gap on both sides, we want to get this snug. And since this is a single piece, you'll want to go in a cross pattern. Top, bottom, side, top, side. Now we're going to go ahead and pull our connector up for our display. And there is a little notch and then a female indentation of that. You're going to go ahead and set these in place. And then you don't want any gap. These are a 3mm as well. And to tighten this one, there's a little rubber cap. So I want you to pay very close attention to this. There's a lot of people that have said, oh, their throttle sticks or whatever. You're the person that puts the throttle on your bike. This isn't with every brand, right? Some bikes already have the throttle on them. If you twist it and it does that, it's not in the right position. What's going to happen if you let go of it and you've already twisted the throttle, or you let go of the brake? It's just going to take off on you. Think about that. It's got to be like this. It's got to snap back immediately. Also, there is a button in the front, so make sure that you have this placed in the best position for you. I did this on the 3.0 and I'm going to do this on this bike as well. I feel like this has a little too much tension up here to where it could cause problems. You make a decision yourself. This is something you want to remove. I already put one zip tie right here. We're going to put on a few more to get these excess of lines out of the way. Your keys, you have a keychain. It's kind of your final step. But make sure you take one of the keys off, put it somewhere safe, and then use the key that you chose. Don't be like this and have them both on your keychain. All right, let's go over the quick little settings so you know how to use this. Press the park button, takes you into ready. This is your mode. Your mode button is over on the left. The M button, you press it again, goes into sport. Press it again, goes into race. Your regenerative braking is currently off. That's mode 1, mode 2, and mode 3. You press the R button, it goes into reverse, and you give it a little bit of throttle. You'll notice the bike's moving. It'll go out, and then you can go back into park. And if you press the front button, the light turns on. And that button is just under here. You have a USB-A and a USB-C right under here. And it has a little nice blue LED. Now you have a pre-charge resistor, so that means there's 3 points on your ignition. So there's off, there's the pre-charge, and then there's on. What is the point of the pre-charge? If the bike sits dormant for a good amount of time and the battery just goes to sleep and you go to turn it on and it doesn't do the eRide Pro display thing, then you need to go all the way back off, turn it back into this for about 5 seconds, and then on. The other thing you will notice, this bike doesn't beep like a 3.0, 2.0, the S, any of those bikes. Now there is an app. It's in your app store or Google Play. It's just eRide Pro, you'll find it. Open it up, you're gonna search for nearby devices. Now you're gonna see eRide Pro, go to connect. Your initial password is ERP123 in all caps. And this gives you all the information. State of your system, your speed. So let's go to settings, Bluetooth. I'm just gonna add SR to the end of this because we obviously have more e-rides here. Yes, save the data. This asks you, when you make a setting change, turn it off and turn it on. Search for nearby devices. Grid Pro SR is there. And every time it's gonna ask you for that password.
Then we're gonna go into the settings. I'm gonna turn the brake sensors off because I like to do wheelies. Kickstand sensor can stay, it's fine. Tilt sensor can stay. Motor temperature sensor, parking on and off. So if you don't want the parking button, you can turn that off. So then when it's live, it's live. And then eco power mode 65, sport mode 80%, race mode 100%, master power control 100%. Speed display adjust. This is so you can change your display settings to get it exactly correct. Your acceleration mode, I would keep those at a lower level until you get used to the bike and you can start changing them and going from there. Your thumb regen is at 100%. Reverse speed limit is 10% of your top speed. Eco mode speed limit, I'm gonna actually turn it all the way up. I don't really care to have a speed limit, so I'm just gonna keep them all high, and then that's it. Now you can save it, you can save the tune, and you can select a tune. So we're just gonna save it. Do you want to save? Yes. Save, power on, power off. And that's really it. There's not much to the app. We'll go more into settings on what I like, what I prefer, or any tips and tricks when it comes to any types of settings. That's how you assemble your E-Ride Pro SR. And the one last thing you should do is go over your entire bike, check all the bolts, make sure everything is snug, everything is tight, whether you installed it or not. Double check your throttle because you do not want that to be tight. You don't want it to not snap back like that. Check your rotor bolts, make sure everything is snug and everything has Loctite that is important. Make sure you adjust your chain, check your tire pressure, and then start playing with the settings on your suspension to get it to feel how you want it. I hope this video is very helpful for you to get your bike assembled. The E-Ride Pro SR seems like it's gonna be a beast and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get on it and try it. That will be in an upcoming video. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, drop them in the comments below, or you can reach out to revrides.com/contact. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. And if you're ever in the area, make sure you swing by and ride with us. Have a good one. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.